For those players looking to buy reserve list cards, waiting another 30 days could mean a huge savings. The trend is your friend. Welcome back, everyone. MTG Moxman here, and thank you again for hanging out with me on my channel today. We're only 290 subscribers away from hitting that 14,000 subscriber mark. Thank you to everyone who's hitting that subscribe button, giving the videos a thumbs up, and leaving comments in the comments section. To my regular viewers who tune in each and every day, to my Patreon members and my YouTube membership members who support the channel, thank you to each and every one of you. For those of you who are reserve list collectors, who search out for cards you've always wanted, this is not quite the time to buy. The trend shows cards going down. Prices across the board slowly declining. No massive landslide yet. But that trend showing a downward, let it be the trend. Let it keep falling. Of course, you can pick up cards at the right time, at the right price for you. But at the same time, if you see cards falling, and you can see the price slowly slipping week after week, like that's what I'm seeing, I say let it fall, let the cards go down a little bit, and make your margin a little bit more palatable when you go to buy that card finally. When it hits the right market price for you, you decide to grab it. I hope you got the best deal you thought you could get, because this market right now, it's at that point where players are deciding what to do. Some players are going to hold on for the long term, hold the line and don't let it go. That's kind of where I stand. But others are not that fortunate or just don't see a future in reserve list collecting or investing, and they're deciding to get out. And as that race to the bottom happens, as it continually happens, the prices are going to slip. But let's throw another wrench in there. All this anger and negativity toward Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast is actually not over. It's about to get heightened. On the 28th, when these packs are actually shipping out and everything's happening, they're for sale, they're going to sell out in just moments, right? When it all starts going down, you'll see a new wave of people being reminded of why they're angry. People's anger goes to a certain level and it kind of subsides. The fires die down. But this will be a refueling. And then when those packs actually start ending up in people's hands, when the shipments arrive and the YouTube videos really start going up en masse from collectors, from people who own YouTube content creators like myself who are opening packs, although I'm not going to be doing any, that's where you can see more people with that negativity happening. And that will be another turning point in the marketplace where you will see a further downward trend as probably a little bit more panic sets in for some players now that it's reality and the packs are actually out there. It may not actually be a reality in the sense like it should happen, but that doesn't mean it's not going to happen because the trend is already there to lead people down that path. So waiting a little bit longer could result in a larger savings for some of the cards you may be seeking out on the secondary market. I'm keeping a good track of quite a few of them. If you have any questions, you can always email me at alang@hotmail.com. I'll be happy to help you guys out. And of course, anyone who's on my Patreon, you guys know you can hit me up anytime for the info and I'll get it to you right away. So let's take a look today at some cards I'm watching, show you the trends where some of these are going, and show the reality of where these cards are going to land for players. I know, we're starting out with a doozy of a card, and that is Time Walk Unlimited Edition. And the reason I'm showing is it's one of my favorite cards, and of course I keep a close eye on it. Now, you can find this card for $4,500 Canadian near mint, but the card I found does have a stamp on it. So it's near mint, but it has a stamp, so really it's damaged. But the idea that you can get the card that cheap at that price level, and some stores have discounts on top of that, some YouTube content creators, you can tune into those channels and get an extra 5 or 10% off depending on where you're buying from, means you could be saving another $250 to $450 off a card like this. Now, when you look at that market price of $2,499, that's a US price, which means these are actually very comparable for the Canadian to the US dollar. 2,290 euros is very interesting to me as well. When you see the average price saying it's 7,000, that's not a reality of the market we're in right now. Time Walk is an amazing card. Artist Amy Weber, it is my all-time favorite card. I always say one of my favorites, but in this case, it is my favorite card. That's why I'm displaying it to you guys today. And this lets you know where the power cards are at. they are going to slowly slide down, and not nearly as fast as other cards, because people have heavily invested top quality dollars. They put some serious money in, and they're less likely to let these cards go too cheap. Stores who've already bought and paid for them don't care if they sit on their shelves for 10 years. It adds great bling when you go into a shop. It adds a certain bit of prestige to the store, saying, hey, they've got power cards there you can go and check out. It does have that certain bit to it. So stores are not going to let these go very cheap. Any cards of that power level are not going to be on sale that often. If they are, it's only going to be the percentage I told you guys. So don't expect too much of a card like this going forward. But if you've always wanted it, the price isn't going to go up very much either. Now, Tellurian Academy, $130 Canadian, lightly played. If this card ever became unbanned, we all know where it's going. It's going to shoot up like a rocket. But the idea right now is it is trending down. The price has been slipping for several months. When it was above the 300, then the 200, then the 150, it's just slowly kind of gliding itself down. Not very quickly, but again, you're getting to that point where players are like, look, it's banned. It's not worth anything. Who cares? I have 4 of them. I'll let 2 of them go for like 80, 90 bucks. Just get them out the door, get a little liquid cash. That's the kind of deals you can expect to see. So this card price, I mean, if you go on TCG Player, I think there were some copies for $80 lightly played US, okay? So you can already find it below what the market said right there for near mint. So somebody getting a heavily played copy, moderately played, they'll all have variations in price. And remember, guys, if you happen to buy anything on TCG Player, please remember to use the affiliate link found in my channel description on each and every video. Just click the link. It'll take you right to TCG Player. My channel gets a little kickback, which helps me buy cards. I really appreciate everyone who does that for me whenever they're shopping. So thanks again, guys. Now, when we're taking a look at Gaia's Cradle, $780 Canadian, lightly played. The market has it at $1,034.65 US, €595, 86 cents. But look at the trend. It's starting to go over the hump, and it's starting to fall. I myself paid, I think, almost $1,400 to buy my copy, and people on the channel helped me do it. It was a very expensive card. I'm never letting my copy go because I need it for a deck. But people right now who may have multiple copies have been trying to cash out. I've seen it. I've seen some stores mention it to me as well. It's a higher price card that people are hoping to capitalize on. So they are trying to shift some of those copies out to liquidity. And it is causing a downward pressure on the market. That, along with all the other uncertainties in the world, means this card for sure will continue to fall. And it's a card you can wait to get your hands on, I'd say about 60 days out. Now the next card, Sarah's Sanctum. Again, you notice these are all from the Urza's block. These cards went to high levels pretty quickly, and they're taking a slower time to go down in price. $400 Canadian near mint. The market price is $290.60 US, but again, the exact same situation. Those who own multiple playsets because they got them really cheap pre-2021 for like 50, 60 bucks, those are the people out there who are now trying to cash in a little bit to make the pain be a little bit less. But again, it puts that same pressure we just talked about like Gaia's Cradle, and it puts that downward pressure on it. And this card does have uses. There are so many enchantment cards that are decent now that commander decks having this in it actually have a purpose and a reason to have this card in there. Now our next card, that's right, the dual lands. We've been talking about this a lot lately. Most of you guys saw Rudy's video at Alpha Investments talking about the 50% decline, and that is in the buy list. But there's something more to talk about here. Here I can find a copy, $285 Canadian, heavily played. That's about $230 US, $220. The market price is $376. The trend is showing, again, that little bit of pressure. But when you actually look around, I've seen decreases on certain copies as much as 50%. But most are actually around the 20 to 25% so far, and it's just slowly adding on. There are people who have been speculative. Those investors who put tens of thousands of dollars in, and they've decided to push some money out, but they may have bought those cards at a $50 level, $100 level. So no matter what, they're going to make money. They're just trying to get the profits they can. But just like every card we're talking about, this isn't the time to buy it. Let things sit where they are, and you'll see these cards are going to slip a little bit more. The market data on these cards is still kind of coming in to see how much the stores can absorb, how much has to go out to eBay, and the secondary market, other sites you can go to like private Facebook groups. There's a little more time to gather data on this to see exactly where it's going to end, and you got to wait till after the actual cards of these proxy versions from the M30 collector packs are delivered. It's very very interesting to see cards like this start to dip in price, because players who play Commander really want to get their hands on them, but they want a good deal too. They want to save some money, because the other cards coming out are still proxies. They can't be used in anything but a casual game. Now the next card is Badlands. I found one as cheap as $340 Canadian heavily played, but it actually would have had a 10% discount on that if you were one of their high premium members. So you could get it for as much as, let's say, $310, $315 plus tax. The market price is $411.08, and the exact same thing. It is starting to trend down a little bit faster right now, especially for copies that are not near mint. So if we're talking about heavily played, moderately played, those who just want to get a copy of it into a Commander deck, I'd say your time to strike is probably about 90 days out still. It's not quite there yet. There's no way the market's going to recover in this time frame, and really it could get a lot worse. We have to look further into the future to see where these cards are going to end up, but they're definitely cards to be watching right now. For anyone who plays in these formats, you know that the desirability to have these cards, and it's actually usually a sign of the overall health of the secondary market. So seeing these cards go down lets you know that most cards are probably trending down a bit. The next card up here is Scrubland, and just like the other two, it's following into that same condition of $300 Canadian heavily played, which means around $270 if you get the discount. The market price is $329.53 US, €238.97 to get that card into your house. This is what we're talking about. Cards like this finding new homes with players who actually want to play with them. And a lot of players are so eager to strike. I get all these emails of people asking me, and I gotta be honest, I don't think we're there yet. I myself am tempted to pick up a couple for the channel, but I just don't see that it's gonna go up. So if it's not gonna go up and the pressure's there, I say let it fall a little bit longer. Of course, I'm still holding the line on what I've got, but I can see where it could just wait a little bit longer. All right, Sliver Queen. Now, I've mentioned this card a lot in the last few videos. It's been up in the last couple, at least the last month and a bit. I've had it up a few times. $300 Canadian for a moderately played copy. The market, though, is $289.20 US. €166.92. That's a shocker of a price for you guys overseas. But this card kind of bounces up and down because it seems people notice it's low and then they buy a couple of copies and then they forget about it for a couple of weeks and it goes down, it goes up, it goes down. But anyone who loves slivers wants to get at least one copy, okay? Anyone. And that's why they're choosing to buy it. But I think when you're looking at the trend, this card is going to go down. It's going to fall to like the 250 US level. It's going to go further because there's too many people trying to sell copies and not nearly enough people willing to bite the bullet and absorb that much, which means after they sit for a couple of weeks, they say, I could knock off $5, I'll knock off 10%, and then somebody else knocks off 5-10%. It's kind of it's a race, right? Now, City of Traders, very interesting. This copy is trending down, but it has had some sales. $325 Canadian for an air mint copy. The market is $243.83 US, and it's €204.60 to get this card into your house. And when you see the trend, it is coming down a lot slower than other cards, and that's because, let's face it, it's City of Traders from Exodus, right? This card is a really fun card to have around. Who doesn't like tapping for 2 colorless mana and not having a penalty other than not laying another land, which really doesn't matter in some deck constructions. So this is a very desirable card. I don't see it falling as fast as the others, okay? As much as I'd like to, if you can find a copy in the moderate to light played and save yourself a few bucks, great. Heavily played if you just need a copy to use for a deck, but I just don't see this one dripping down as fast as the other cards on the list. It's just not going to slide the same way. So it's not the most worst, horrible choice to buy it now, but I think you can wait, you know, maybe another 30 days to see if more downward pressure comes on. It's just, I don't see it right now. Now, the last card I want to share with you today is Volroth Stronghold, and it continues to fall. $91 Canadian, lightly played. This one was at 105, then 103, then 102, then it was like 99. Now it is 96.19, okay, is the average. The market price is 102.16, down from 105. That's not a huge decrease, but again, it just shows what's happening. €69.33 to get this card into your house. Now, this is a desirable card for Commander decks. It is a great card to have around, no real drawbacks at all. Amazing to splash into decks that have black mana. But what can I say? I bought mine for above this price, or around this price, and it was a few years ago. So to see losses like this on the market, right? I bought and paid for mine, so I'm not too worried, but seeing those losses mounting for some people, it's kind of a shocker. I get it. It's sticker shock. And the thing is, everyone has price memory. Everyone does. You remember when something... I remember dual lands being $5, but I remember them being $50. I remember it being $100. My mind goes up with it. For some people, they say, hey, I remember dual lands being $500 only like a couple of years ago, a year and a half ago, and now they're down to like $300, and that seems like a big steal of a deal. But don't let your mind play tricks on you, okay? It will go further. It is going to drop more because the market cannot bear what's happening right now. And that's not just because of the announcements in Magic. That's the economic climate we're in around the world. These prices will not hold where they are. They'll either stay flat or continue to drop down in a small to low negative fashion, a few bucks at a time, until somebody picks them up. Players who have bought these cards and owned them for years, no matter what, are going to see returns. It's how much return they get on it. If they bought them for $100 and it's going for $5 and they sell it for $250, they still saw 150% return on their investment, right? It's still massive. So don't fool yourself into thinking you got to buy it now. You have time. Buy when you believe it's at a good price. I myself am still waiting for certain cards to drop even further to be able to buy more copies of something. So if I can wait, so can all of you. Let's enjoy ourselves. Let's take a look at what's going on in the marketplace. Let's have some good games of Magic this weekend. And I'm looking forward to seeing you guys on the weekend for the Hot 10 videos. And of course, the live stream on Sunday. I'll see you guys then. To all my wonderful patrons out there, thank you again, everyone. Each and every one of you for that support you show me each and every month, guys. It means a lot to be able to do this on the channel. You guys are awesome. The trend is your friend. Welcome to the end of the video. You are the special ones, the ones who make it all the way through each and every time. And you know who you are because you don't want to leave those comments in the comment section so I know what you're talking about. We all know. Nobody else seems to know, but we know. So, I was serious. These trends are still continuing. The downward pressure on the market is massive. The savings will be bigger later. And if you don't get it exactly now, don't rush into it because it's not going to go up no matter what. You're not going to see some massive change around the market in the next next 100 days, 200 days, based on what we're seeing in the economy right now with more jobs being shed, more uncertainty and recession talk in the world. It just can't happen. I'm not a financial guy, but I get the basics of how finance work. So people who are really stable or have massive savings can take advantage of some of these card savings as they come up in the secondary market if they choose to. But if you're waiting for a good deal, it's probably going to happen. You just have to wait a little bit longer. I myself am like chomping at the bit and trying to save up a few extra bucks for some Arabian Nights cards. I know. It's hard. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, guys. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being those people at the end. You know, it means a lot. Now, don't forget to turn the lights off when you leave. I got to lock the front door when you guys leave the room, so we'll see you guys then, okay?